After the brilliant week that Arsenal have had, it is great to get some more good news, and it looks like it is coming with the form of Jurrien Timber expected to be included within the Bournemouth squad. But what can you expect from Timber, and how much will he play towards the end of the season? Well, let's get into it. Now, I will start off in saying that I have done a lot of videos on Timber, and maybe a little bit more prematurely than I should have, saying that he's going to be included in squads, which he hasn't. I do feel like for the last few weeks he's been good enough to at least be on our bench, but of course we want to ease him in and play him in the under 21 games first to get him a bit more sharpness and a bit more match ready, which is completely fair enough. It was also expected that I'm not sure if he was going to get any minutes towards the end of the season just because of how quick it was coming, and it didn't look like he was going to make it. But I think if he is included, which is expected by the way on the Bournemouth squad on the weekend, you can expect him to probably play some few minutes at least in the game against Everton at the end of the season. Now obviously a lot of that depends on what the game state is going to be like. If we lose to Manchester United and the league's over, then obviously I'd probably expect him to even start against Everton. But obviously if there's still a lot to play for and we may need to score some goals, or we have a chance of still winning the league, then I expect him to probably be on the bench, maybe come on later on. And now one of the big things I'm interested in seeing is actually this picture that I found by Billy on Twitter. I would go and check him out if you want to. It is where Timber is probably going to come in. You could see Vieira potentially be in that left 8 spot. This is because Timber can play alongside Rice and almost act as a proper double pivot, but also cover for himself going back into left back. Timber is a very good tackler and a very good defender. He is like Zinchenko, but can actually defend 1v1 and is probably one of our best defenders. He's very physical in a challenge and makes a lot of good decisions. And I know that Arsenal have had a lot of success with Partey recently, but obviously the defensive levels haven't been so sufficient, and when Arsenal have played Rice by himself in a 6, it hasn't been the best because sometimes we get broke on and we can see stupid chances, although overall against certain teams it's going to be useful. And I think against Everton, even if Timber wasn't to play, you'd probably just play Rice and Vieira to try something up. Now this could give Arsenal some really good balance in the midfield and the defence. This could give a lot of moving parts, where obviously also the main part is where Martinelli will actually get passes into from Vieira, and we can actually potentially see the connection that Martin and Vieira have, because I know they're really good friends. Also the fact that Martinelli will have the chances to actually score some goals and actually make an impact in the game. This could also potentially see Havertz come a bit deeper for obviously to win them duels and progress the ball, and see Martinelli push more into that centre forward role. I think this would help us a lot more, and an inside forward role for Martinelli could be a very good way of getting him closer to the goal. And of course this is all speculation. We don't even know if Timber's going to be fully fit to start a game or even play a couple of minutes. I do expect him to if he is going to be on the bench though for the last 3 games, but I can't see us trying something like this against Manchester United. It's probably going to be the Bournemouth, who are a very good side, or the Everton game, which I'm probably playing for nothing for them. And although I've done videos talking about how good Partey has been and has come into the side, Timber would unfortunately eliminate Partey from the squad, and I'm not necessarily sure we're going to keep Partey in the summer. I've heard it's up in the air, maybe. If he is potentially to leave, that could be the end of Partey at Arsenal. Of course, I think this was the main idea maybe Arsenal had going into the start of the season, and potentially even playing Partey in the white position to have even more of an interchange with Invert in there as well. But I think we've all realised that Havertz up front is definitely the way to go, at least for the end of this season, but I think Arsenal will probably stick with it next season. I can't see us really signing a striker, and Timber coming into midfield might make that sufficient enough. So someone like Vieira, who a lot of people want to see more of, I do in particular. I think he had a really good start to the season, but that injury ruined his momentum, and then we haven't seen enough of him since. They haven't really played him, he hasn't really got an opportunity. So Vieira, who can play in between the lines, getting more space and getting more creativity, could be very helpful, and he could be the main 10 in this team, where Odegaard plays a little bit deeper, giving Saka more room and more space. And although Timber has played predominantly in right back in his career and sometimes in centre back, I think we're going to mostly use him as a left back because of the Ben White adaptation of him being very good this year, and because Ben White is probably our best defender so far, so you can't really argue with dropping him. And with Timber playing left back for the under 21s, I think that gives you a good idea of what you want to do. But he is so good on his 2 feet. That goal he scored for the under 21s was incredible, and I think shows shows the ability of the level that he could do. However, unfortunately, because Timber is coming back, that means someone is actually going to have to drop out of the bench, because if you look at our sub bench that we had against Tottenham, I think arguably they're all very good players. There's no at least expect sometimes to come on. They're all players that have been starters at some point this season and could be a very good opportunity in the future. And unfortunately, I think if any of them players are probably going to drop out of the team, you've got to think it's going to be one of the left backs. I don't really see the point of having Zinchenko, Kiwior, or Timber all on the bench while having tomiyasu play. That is so much support for that one position that I don't think we necessarily need. I've seen a lot of people say that we might get rid of Smith Rowe in there, but I still think Arteta likes Smith Rowe enough to keep him in there. Even if I think Vieira should play, I actually think Smith Rowe's got more of a chance of starting than Vieira. But overall, these are problems that you want to have. Arsenal want to have these problems because at the end of the day, it just shows how much squad depth we are getting, and I'm sure in the summer we're going to make it even better, becoming an elite side, which we already are in loads of ways, but we can get even better, of course. And I think it's a good time to say that Arsenal have had a fantastic season. I know a lot of people are going to judge it if we've won a title, and we don't know if that's going to be the case yet, but I don't think that should be the way we look at it. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we weren't even competitive, and now we are arguably the second, I think, the best team in the country. I think we've played the best this year, but because of inexperience and the fact we can't spend 100 million on every player, we haven't been able to compete with Man City, or win, I should say, because we have definitely competed with them. And it's definitely not the results around the top 6 which would always cause us problems in the past, which has actually caused us any issues this year. It's mostly them stupid games where we lose to West Ham, lost to Fulham twice, dropped points to Aston Villa twice. These games that just really let us down. But unfortunately, you can't expect to win every game, and Arsenal have done a very good job, at least in 2024, of nearly winning every single game, so I can't fault them for anything more than that. And I'm sure the experience that we gain from this season will be very vital next year. I don't think Liverpool are going to be as competitive as they are. They're going to go for a transition year, and Manchester City got their transfer business particularly wrong this year, so if they do it again in this summer, then I can see us being able to win the league. But while saying this, I will always say that we should always believe, and I don't think the league season is over. Of course, we've still got to go away to United. Even Bournemouth at home is a hard game with their current form, so it's not over by any means, but I believe that we can win our last 3 games, and then we're just going to have to see what Man City do. They didn't look good in their last game, but you know, it could be tiredness that we're also going to have, but I like the way we play a bit more. That I think helps us. And of course, I know this whole debate about if Tottenham are actually going to try, and I think the players will try, but I don't know if they're going to have enough to get anything off City. But you never know what can happen. Anything can happen in this league, and even Nottingham Forest probably should have beaten Man City, so it's not over this season, and let's not give up this early. We've had a brilliant week with beating 2 of our London rivals and showed our dominance over the teams in London, and let's take that momentum and take that opportunity to keep winning this season. And at the end of the day, the feel-good factor that we have right now is very important, and I think as long as we believe, there's always going to be a chance. Jurrien Timber coming back is definitely very important, and I actually think it's going to make us even better, even though he hasn't played a lot of football in the last year. And not only is this going to be important for this year, but next year we're going to be even better when we can actually play the players that hopefully don't tear their ACL and are out for the whole year. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate your view as always. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and go and watch my video yesterday. One of them, I did one about Partey or Havertz. If not, I appreciate you as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.